All right, look, can we have a real conversation here for a second? There's no end of videos online talking about how gaming feels different, how it doesn't feel like it used to, and how you can get it back. Everyone's falling for these salesmen, just selling them on this, that, or the other, and I feel like we're all going about this wrong. The number one problem with gaming as an adult, as an older teenager, in the modern era with a rapid influx of information, whatever you want to approach it as, is overthinking, is too much of it. And I feel like everyone's responses to this problem only further enables the problem. I think you should stop making systems to min-max your game time, to optimize the fun out of everything, to make sure you're hitting this kind of game and this kind of game at the same time so that you can balance out with your feelings for this kind of game and prep yourself in this way with your 5-step meal prep equivalent of gaming routine. It's just supposed to be fun. You're supposed to just sit down and play a game and have fun. Stop overthinking it. Overthinking it is the whole problem. A 5-step gaming system with some beginner psychology research thrown in might seem impressive and make you feel like you're listening to a smart person, to someone who's smarter than you and who is making you smarter at the end. But you're still not making decisions for yourself. You're still not deciding things based on your needs and interests. And that person throwing a bunch of fancy words at you or some examples that you haven't verified if are real, psychological concepts or research, they can't decide that for you. It's actually pretty easy to have a lot of fun with video games. You just gotta stop giving so much of yourself to it, to any singular hobby. It shouldn't dominate your entire life. Live your life. Balance your house, your hobbies. Get your stuff in order. When you have multiple priorities in the first place, you start juggling it better. But when you make gaming everything, absolutely everything, you have no way to go about it with any sort of moderation. When your shit is together, gaming can be fun pretty easily. When we were kids, we usually, in ideal scenarios, had parents or some sort of loved ones watching out for us, giving our life some structure, holding us to a standard of living and a standard of responsibility. Obviously, not everyone grew up with that. Some parents were not as responsible as others, but theoretically, we had some sort of structure to our life that was mandated by powers bigger than ourselves that we could not really control. As an adult, we have too much freedom. We have ultimate control over our lives, which means we're also responsible for the consequences too. When you focus on fixing everything else except for gaming, if you haven't really been tending to the rest of your life, it's a lot easier to figure out where games fit in later. If you focus on balancing your life, focusing on what else is important. Gaming is just a hobby. It's not that important of a thing, and it can really start to fill in the gaps when it's not making the gaps itself. Think about it. What blocks of time are really available without putting off chores or responsibilities? How often are you spending time with your loved ones? Excited for a new game? Cool. Hold on to that. Don't spill it everywhere, obsessing and overindulging in news or discourse or leaks or whatever about it. Keep it at a distance, hold on to that excitement, and then when you're ready, you can jump in, and it will feel so much better. That game you're really excited for, if you just obsess over every little news leak, every little piece of information, every ounce of skepticism people are sharing on social media or in sensationalized YouTube videos, by the time that game comes out, you're not going to care about it anywhere near as much. Stop filling your head with social media noise and discourse. Stop rotting your brain with tabloid-level hyperbole and sensationalism. I know I say that while I'm on the very platform I'm complaining about, but we see all the time that entire games are basically ruined by obsessive discourse online that really just needed to be a drop in the bucket. It didn't need to be this whole big cultural event. Do you not feel like you're gelling with your current mode of gaming anymore? Take a break. Distance makes the heart grow fonder, as they used to say, maybe, and a break can help you relax, calibrate, and reprioritize. Or change it up. Try a standing desk. Try gaming at the TV. Try handheld. As much as I complain about the sensationalism in YouTube videos about like the Steam Deck and things like that, there's at least nuggets of truth in there about how it allowed the people to reassess their relationship with gaming and game in a different format. It just gets blown out of proportion. If your squad isn't able to party up as much as they used to, don't solo queue. That will burn you out for the next time you're trying to play with them. And then you won't want to play with them anymore. And then the group fades and fizzles away. And then you're making videos about how you don't get to do the same multiplayer gaming anymore because everything's changed, when in reality, you pushed yourself too far. Instead, play a solo game or take the night off. Do something else. Go cook. Go out. Look at the stars. Get laid. Read a book. But all that being said, don't change the way you do things or go and spend a bunch of money to do things a little differently because someone else said it changed their life. Spend time to reflect and evaluate if something would actually make a meaningful impact in your life, because you're the only person who knows whether it can. These things are completely personal. They're completely unique to you. I'm just tired of seeing salesmen dropping these 10-step programs to get your gaming life back in order and seeing people talk about how they made these like massive lists and they're juggling these 3 different types of games at once and whatever, because to me, that would just ruin gaming. That's not fun anymore. That's over-optimization. That's turning the hobby of playing for leisure into this mechanical system. And that's not what I got into games for. Remember to be kind, rewind.